Have you ever felt like your life is quietly falling apart, while everything on the outside looks just fine? You smile, you show up, you do what's expected, but deep inside there's a storm, a quiet chaos, an unbearable pressure behind your chest that no one sees. You try harder, you plan more, you try to fix, to control, to organize everything, your job, your relationships, your emotions. But the more you try, the more it all slips through your fingers, like grabbing water with bare hands. And you start to wonder, is peace even possible? Is control the path to strength, or is it the cage that's keeping you weak? You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote those words nearly 2,000 years ago, and yet they feel like they were written for you, right now. Because no one ever taught you how to surrender, only how to hold on tighter. They told you to fight for stability, to win peace by conquering chaos. But they never told you that peace might not be outside of you at all. That maybe peace is what begins the moment you stop fighting. You weren't born afraid. But somewhere along the way, life taught you that if you don't control everything, you'll lose everything. So you started building walls, controlling people, obsessing over outcomes, and mistaking anxiety for responsibility. Control became your drug, and now you're exhausted. You keep thinking, if I just get through this week, if I just fix this one thing, then maybe I'll feel calm. But peace never comes that way, does it? Because what you're really trying to escape is not the chaos around you. It's the fear inside you. The fear of not being enough, of not being loved, of being vulnerable, exposed, out of control. And when fear runs your life, even your victories feel hollow. Maybe you've never admitted this before, but sometimes the silence terrifies you. The pause between one task and the next. The moment when you're alone and there's nothing left to control. Because that's when the truth speaks. And the truth is this: you're tired of pretending. You're tired of being strong for everyone else. Tired of saying, "I'm fine," when your soul is screaming. Tired of being a puppet pulled by deadlines, expectations, opinions. Tired of being at war with a world that doesn't owe you peace. And what if peace doesn't come when the world changes? What if it comes when you do? What if the strength you seek is in letting go? Letting go of outcomes, letting go of perfection, letting go of the lie that you must carry it all alone. You've carried enough. You've spent years trying to control life so it won't hurt you again. But it did anyway. And now, maybe the bravest thing you can do is stop running, stop pretending, and finally, sit with your pain. Can you do that? Can you face the quiet without needing to fix it? Can you let the waves of life crash without losing your center? Maybe you think that sounds weak. But what if weakness is the need to control, and strength is the ability to surrender? Listen. You've been strong in all the wrong ways. Strong at building masks. Strong at pushing pain away. Strong at surviving. But now, it's time to live. And living starts when you realize this. The world will never bend perfectly to your will. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Storms will come. But you have a choice. You can stay trapped in the illusion that control will save you. Or you can realize that your peace has never depended on the world at all. It's been buried beneath the noise, hidden behind the fight, and now it's waiting. For you. Are you ready to see who you are without the armor? Are you ready to be still? If any of this feels like your story, I want to hear it. Tell me in the comments, what are you carrying that you were never meant to hold? Your words matter here. Your pain has a place. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. Let's be honest. You've spent years trying to prove your worth by controlling every piece of the puzzle. You tried to become the perfect student, the ideal partner, the reliable friend. You learned how to smile at the right time, say the right words, plan the perfect future. And still, inside, something felt off. Empty, restless, like your soul was knocking from the inside, begging you to stop pretending. You see, no one ever tells you that control is just fear in disguise. And fear, is a liar. It whispers that if you loosen your grip, everything will fall apart. But maybe what needs to fall apart is the illusion that you ever had control at all. What if the chaos isn't your enemy? What if it's your teacher? What if the broken plans, the disappointments, the things you thought you couldn't survive, were the cracks where light could finally get in? You've been taught to fear discomfort, but discomfort is where truth lives. You've been taught to chase peace through achievement, success, reputation, but real peace doesn't need an audience. It happens in silence, in surrender. In the moment you finally admit, I'm not in control, and that's okay. Because the world is unpredictable. People are unpredictable. Your emotions, your thoughts, your future, all of it dances on the edge of uncertainty. But there's one thing that can remain still amidst the storm. Your mind. Not your reactive mind. Not your impulsive, scattered, anxious thoughts, but the deeper part of you. The watcher. The one who observes without judgment. The one Marcus Aurelius was talking about. You have power over your mind, not outside events. That power has always been yours, but you were too busy chasing control to notice it. So let me ask you now, when was the last time you sat in stillness and just breathed? Not to escape, not to control, but to simply be. To feel the air enter your lungs, to feel your heartbeat, to feel the presence of this moment without needing it to be different. You've been running from the now your whole life, always reaching for the next solution, the next distraction, the next version of you. But peace isn't there. Peace is here, in the now, in this breath. You are not your past. You are not your future. You are not your fears or failures or projections. You are the one aware of them. And that awareness, that stillness, is your strength. But you must choose it, every day. Especially on the days when everything feels out of control. Especially when your emotions rage like fire. Especially when you want to scream, to run, to collapse. That's when your training begins. Because the mind is a battlefield, and your thoughts are not always your allies. Some of them were planted by trauma, some by society, some by people who never saw your worth. But your job isn't to believe every thought. Your job is to see them, and choose who you become in response. That is freedom. That is power. And that is the only control that leads to peace. Because peace is not the absence of chaos. It's the refusal to be owned by it. You may not be able to control the storm, but you can become the stillness inside of it. And yes, that requires courage. The kind of courage most people never talk about. Not the courage to climb a mountain or chase a dream, but the courage to sit with yourself, fully, and not run. The courage to feel the grief, to touch the shame, to let the fear rise and pass without trying to suffocate it. That is the warrior's path. And if you're still listening now, I believe that path is calling you. Not because you want to feel powerful, but because you're tired of being a prisoner of outcomes, of opinions, of emotions you never learned how to process. It's time to break the cycle. You don't need to control your life to live it. You need to meet it, moment by moment, with presence, with humility, with the awareness that nothing is guaranteed, but everything can be meaningful, even your pain, especially your pain, because pain is the signal. It's the messenger. It tells you where you're still holding on to illusions, where you're still afraid of the truth, and the truth is this: you are not broken, you are not behind, you are not weak, you are human, and being human is messy. But it's also beautiful, because inside the mess, there's a soul that wants to breathe again. A soul that has been buried under pressure, perfection, and performance. Let it breathe. Let it speak. Let it fall apart if it must. Because only when you stop pretending to be in control, do you finally start to feel alive. But what does it mean to feel alive? Not just to exist. Not just to survive the week, check the boxes, go to sleep and repeat, but to feel, fully. To look at life with open eyes, even when it hurts. To stop numbing everything that doesn't fit your plan. Because maybe that's where most people get lost. Not in failure, but in the desperate attempt to never feel failure. in the endless search for security, perfection, control, and they trade their soul for it. Bit by bit, day by day, you've probably felt it too. The moment you smiled while breaking inside. The moment you said, "I'm fine," while your chest burned with silent panic. The moment you pretended you didn't care just to avoid one more rejection. We've all been there. And it's exhausting. Because trying to control how you're perceived is the fastest way to forget who you are. You become an actor. A version of yourself curated for approval, applause, and peace at any cost. But peace built on pretending is a time bomb. It will implode. Eventually. And when it does, you'll be left alone with the one thing you've been avoiding all along. Yourself. But maybe that's not a curse. Maybe that's the beginning. The beginning of a life not built on performance, but on presence. Not on controlling others, but on understanding yourself. You've been told that peace means silence, calm, no conflict. But Marcus Aurelius wasn't talking about the absence of noise. He was talking about the inner fortress, the place inside you that no storm can shake. You have power over your mind, not outside events. That's your anchor. But you must build it. You must choose again and again, not to react automatically. Not to live as a slave to your emotions, your past, your fears. You must choose to return. To center. To the place within you that watches without fear, listens without judgment, and acts with clarity. But that takes discipline. Not rigid discipline like a punishment, but a loving commitment to yourself, to truth, to the present moment. Because here's the uncomfortable truth no one tells you. Freedom doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from mastering your relationship with it. And mastery isn't loud. It doesn't boast. It doesn't seek approval. Mastery is silent, calm, unshakable. Like the ocean floor during a storm. The surface may rage with waves, but deep down, it's still. That's who you are beneath the fear. That's who you are when you stop running. When you stop grasping. When you finally decide that being whole is better than being in control. But let's not pretend it's easy. Let's not romanticize the path of awareness, because sometimes it feels like breaking. Like losing your grip on everything you thought defined you. Your titles, your relationships, your dreams that didn't come true. And in that breaking, something inside screams, "Who am I now?" You are the one who remains, the one who breathes, the one who chooses, the one who still has the power to respond, even when the world crumbles. You are not what happens to you. You are how you rise from it. And you rise by looking inward, not to escape, not to blame, but to understand, to see the stories you've believed, the ones that said you must control everything to be safe, the ones that said you're only worthy when things go perfectly. They were lies, well-meaning maybe, but lies, because your worth has never depended on outcomes. Your peace has never lived outside of you. It's been waiting, in the pause between breaths, in the silence behind your thoughts, in the truth you've been too scared to face. But now, you're here. Reading this, feeling this, which means some part of you is ready. Ready to let go. Ready to fall into what is, without needing it to change. So ask yourself, what am I still trying to control? What part of me is clinging so tightly that I can't breathe? And what would happen if I let go? What would happen if I allowed life to be life? Messy, unpredictable, wild, and met it with courage instead of fear. You might cry, you might rage, you might grieve, but after that, you'll feel something you haven't felt in years. Freedom. And not the kind sold in ads or promised by gurus. The kind that lives in your spine when you stand in truth. The kind that whispers in your ear when you're alone, saying, "You're exactly where you need to be." No more pretending, no more running. No more waiting for the world to give you permission to be at peace. You don't need permission. You need presence. You need to return, to breathe, to take your power back, not by controlling everything, but by choosing how you show up to anything. And if you feel the weight of this truth pressing on your chest right now, If there's a lump in your throat, a tightness in your stomach, pause, feel it. Don't run. This is the moment. This is where transformation begins. Right here. Inside you. Right now. It's terrifying, isn't it? To realize how much of your life you've lived on autopilot. How often you've let fear make your choices. How much time you've spent trying to fix the world instead of facing yourself. But you're not alone. Every human who's ever awakened to their own mind has felt this same chill. The feeling that everything outside is falling apart, when in reality, it's your illusions that are crumbling. And that's good. Because illusions are prisons. The illusion that you're in control. That if you say all the right things, if you please everyone, if you predict every outcome, then you'll finally be safe. But safe isn't peace. It's a cage. Peace is something else entirely. Peace is choosing presence over perfection. It's holding the chaos in your hands and saying, even now I will not abandon myself. It's the slow, sacred practice of coming home, to your breath, your body, your truth. Peace isn't out there. It never was. And maybe you've known that all along. Maybe that's why you've felt restless, no matter how hard you tried. Maybe that's why the applause never felt loud enough, the success never deep enough. Because some part of you was whispering, this isn't it, and it wasn't. Not until now. Now, when you're stripped bare of the lies. Now, when there's nothing left to protect but your soul. Now, when you finally see that your power isn't in control. It's in surrender. The conscious, fierce surrender to what is. To your pain. To your joy. To the present moment that asks nothing of you but your full, honest presence. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Do you hear it now? He wasn't offering a trick. He was giving you the key, not to escape life, but to live it, fully, raw, and awake. You'll still fall, you'll still bleed, but you'll rise with something deeper than comfort. You'll rise with peace, not the peace that avoids, but the peace that withstands. And when the world tries to shake you again, when life doesn't go your way, when the voices return telling you you're not enough, you'll remember this. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker. You are not your failures. You are the one who learns. You are not broken. You are becoming, right now, in this very breath. And if something in you is breaking open, if something in you feels seen, even if it hurts, let it. Don't run. Don't close. Feel it. All of it. Because this is where your healing begins. Not when life changes, but when you do. So tell me, did this speak to something you've been carrying? Did it echo something hidden, buried, unspoken? Then don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Tell me in the comments what part of you this touched. I want to hear your story. I want to read your pain. Not because I can fix it, but because you shouldn't carry it alone. And if this message made you feel less alone, if it reminded you of your strength, if it helped you see the lie behind the illusion of control, then stay, subscribe. We need to talk more about the things no one talks about. The pain behind the smile, the fear behind the silence, the peace that doesn't come from having everything, but from finally accepting yourself as you are, where you are. No pretending, no masks, just truth. Because that's where real strength lives, inside you. And you've had it all along. You're just now starting to remember. Welcome back. Welcome home.